everybody, my name is Joey. I'm here to introduce Carlos and Courtney. They are going to explain how you can adopt a dog from Texas in Portland and Seattle.
Hi.
Hello.
I am Courtney.
And I'm Carlos.
We have been volunteering together, working together, whatever you want to call it, for 13 years doing dog rescue. And it's been fun.
It's been a lot of work.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been a lot of work, but we're here still. So
Still going, getting bigger.
we should have our own reality show. I think it'd be a hit. Anyways, here's our little Texas shirts. I love my Texas dog, Animal Rescue Kingdom. So we have a campaign right now. You can purchase one and we get some, it's like a donation thing kind of, but you get a shirt. Okay.
All right, we're going to talk to you guys a little bit about our whole process, about where our dogs come from, getting your dog to you, the adoption process, when we arrive in Portland or Seattle, and everything. So we're going to start just telling you a little bit about our dogs and where they come from. We are here in Texas, and we have a high kill rate at our shelters, and that's where our dogs come from. So we have hundreds of local shelters in Texas, or the Houston area is where we are. So we go around to the different shelters and pick the dogs that we think are friendly and social and adoptable. And we also get, we handpick some of the dogs, our organization in particular. And then since we've been doing the transport to Seattle and Portland, we have been taking dogs from other rescue groups locally. There's a reason why we're able to bring so many dogs, because I mean, it's not something that we could do on our own. So that's part of the reason why if you get paperwork in your folder, all your paperwork may not say Animal Rescue Kingdom. It may say a different organization, but we brought the dogs from that organization into our organization, and then we bring them to you. So when the dog comes to Portland or Seattle or wherever you're adopting the dog from, once you adopt that dog, you are adopting that dog from us. So any communication or anything that happens after that, you need to contact us directly, because we are the ones that will be handling anything that involves that dog.
When we get the dogs, we have picture day, and it's quite entertaining, and we spend hours taking pictures of all the dogs. And in this Texas heat, it's really a lot of fun, and it's hot. So, I mean, literally, when we say we take pictures for hours, it's hours. And so we spend a lot of time doing the pictures. And then I take them home, I edit them, and we post them online for adoption. And that's where you find them on Pet Finder. Once you see a dog that you like, you can email us. And usually I answer the email. Sometimes Carlos helps with that. So you'll get a response, and basically the first step is just filling out an application. And so once you do that, one of us will call you and talk to you and hopefully approve you for the dog that you want. We do have two options when it comes to adopting. You can either pre-adopt, or you can come and meet the dog when we're in Portland and Seattle. And so when you pre-adopt, that means that the dog you pick is the one you're gonna get. And basically you do all the paperwork ahead of time. You fill out that contract, the microchip form, everything. And then when you come to PetSmart in Portland or Seattle, you just pick up your dog. If you don't want to pre-adopt, let's say you want to meet the dog first, that's fine. You can just come to either PetSmart we're going to be at. But the dog you may want may not still be available. It may be pre-adopted by then. So you're going to have less of a choice in the dogs that you can pick from, basically.
Yeah, so if you see a dog online and you're like, oh my God, I really, really want this dog, I want this dog. If it's a highly adoptable dog, which means you already like it, you think it's really cute, well, you're probably not the only person. Our last trip, we brought 108 dogs 45 of the 108 dogs were pre-adopted. So then, so you see what the number is. So if you have that many dogs and about half of them are going to be pre-adopted, basically those first 45 dogs are the pick of the litter. So when we get there, I mean, if you need to see, I mean, that's fine. And that's why we bring dogs that are not adopted, because pre-adoption is not for everybody. But like Courtney said, chances are if you see this cute puppy that you want, or a very nice looking dog that you want, chances are by the time we get to Portland or Seattle, that dog's going to be gone. And if we go to Portland first, then not only are the pre-adopts going to be picked up, then Portland's going to have first dibs on the dogs that are not adopted. If we go to Seattle first, then Seattle's going to have first dibs on the dogs that are not adopted. But I mean, that's just how it works.
Yeah. Well, also, let's go over the pictures. So literally, like I said, we spend hours taking pictures. So when you email us and ask us for more pictures, it's really hard for us to do that, because I drive an hour to get here to the boarding facility, and then I just can't send you guys extra pictures. It's just impossible. We're busy answering emails. We're busy. Carlos is busy taking care of the dogs. We all have our own lives outside of this, so there's only so much we can do. And a lot of people request extra pictures, and when we can, we try, but it really doesn't happen that often. So it's going to be really difficult if you ask for extra pictures. We probably aren't going to be able to send you them.
And what I've found is the people requesting extra pictures never adopt a dog.
Yeah, it's true.
It's like we have the photos that are posted, and I mean, Courtney has a nice camera. They're good pictures of the dog. So I don't know what the extra video or extra photo is trying to, I mean, what you're trying to determine from the extra photos or videos. But in the time that we've done this, the people that request the extra photos or videos don't ever adopt a dog. So I just think if you're that person that you need more than what we're giving you to adopt a dog, then look and see what we have online. Look at the dates that we're going to be in town. And then don't pre-adopt a dog. Just show up to the event that day and see what's available. And I mean, if there's a dog there for you, then by all means, go through the process and get the dog. But if it's not, then it's not. There'll be other listings and other dogs and other trips. And I mean, I know you have to go through your process the way you feel comfortable doing it to get a dog. It's tough on us.
Yes. So vetting.
I'll talk a little bit about vetting because I kind of handle that. The whole process comes whenever we get the dogs from the shelter. We set them up with vet appointments. So as they come in, they start going to the vet. So it's a big deal. It's a big process. You have no earthly idea. Because once the trip ends, in order to get that many dogs vetted, it's part of the reason why we get dogs from other groups, because they take them in and they can get them spayed and neutered and have them seen at the vet through their vet, and then they come to us and it's already done. Because the ones that we get, we're using 5 different vets to make this happen. Spays and neuters and vaccinations and health certificates. So it's a constant. I mean, in a week's time, I probably go to the vet 4 times a week at least, just to get dogs spayed and neutered. And
that's waking up early, loading them, making sure they didn't eat or drink last night. The whole process.
Taking them, because when they're getting spayed and neutered, you have to have them there early in the morning and drop them off. And then they'll give you a time to come back and get them at 3:30 or come back and get them between 5 and 6. So you have to have that time to get them there on time. Then you have to have the time to get back to pick them up. But then there's the aftercare. Whenever they get back here to me, then you got to keep them warm and give them their soft food to eat and make sure that they stay hydrated and everything. It's hard for them to control their body temperature after the spay because they have the anesthesia and stuff on board and the painkiller and everything. So it's just a process with the vetting.
And so any dog you get from us will be spayed or neutered, be age appropriate vaccinated with parvo distemper, If they're old enough, they'll have a rabies. If they're old enough, over 6 months, they'll have a heartworm test. And we do worm all the dogs. We give them all heartworm prevention and flea and tick.
Oh, let me tell you a little bit about the spays. On female dogs, you know, they have an incision on the abdomen, and after a dog, they actually remove the uterus when they do a spay. And you will get a little bump right underneath the incision. That little bump is called a seroma, and it's just serum after the spay. So if you get a dog and it has a little bump there, it's nothing to be concerned about or worried about. The dog will be fine. And usually 2 to 3 weeks, the body will absorb the serum and it'll go back flat and the dog will be fine. Male dogs. Young dogs and puppies, not so much because their testicles are not as full, but adult male dogs that have big testicles, that sac will feel full of serum and it will look like the dog's not neutered, but the dog is neutered. So it's the same thing as a seroma. It'll swell up and then the body will absorb the serum and then it'll be gone. So every dog that we bring on these trips are all spayed, neutered, vaccination. With the puppies, all the puppies have at least 2 sets of shots. Some of them will have more. It just depends on the time that we got the puppy in the process. But with our puppies, they have to have at least 2 sets of shots before we'll bring them on a trip.
And I have a funny story. So a lady and a doctor called. I can't remember what her name was, but she swore up and down we did not neuter her dog. And because it still looked like he had testicles. Do you remember this?
I kind of remember.
Well, anyway. So I had to detail, I had to say, okay, get the dog, look on his penis. Does he have an incision at the base of his penis? And we went through this whole thing back and forth. Finally, you know, he did have an incision, so he was neutered. It was just a swelling, like Carlos had said. So I think 2 weeks later, she emailed me and said that she's sorry, that she was upset, but he's fine. The swelling went down. Okay. All right. When y'all come to PetSmart in Portland or Seattle, so we have different days that we come. We have different times. If you have pre-adopted a dog, meaning you paid for the dog ahead of time, you've done all the adoption paperwork, you're just coming to pick up the dog, you will get an email from me stating where, when, how, get in line, meet certain areas to get the dog. If you have not paid for a dog ahead of time and you're just coming to look, or it was last minute and you didn't have time to pre-adopt, because we do shut off pre-adoptions a certain time before the event. If you didn't have time or you're just coming to look, that's fine. The line at the last event started at 4 a.m.
Right.
There was a lady there, Carlos said, with her lawn chair at 4 a.m. And so we don't start adoptions until 10 a.m. And so she just wanted to get her pick. And she was literally the first person there, so she got to pick out of all the dogs that had not been pre-adopted yet. So, you know, don't expect to show up at 9:50 and think that you're going to just walk right in and pick a dog. There's probably going to be a long line. And so we just ask for your patience. And, you know, bring a coffee, bring a water, bring what you need to do to just kind of wait in line. I think most people waited, what, like 2 hours?
2 hours.
2 hours to get a dog. And granted, we're working our best, and Carlos and everybody is working their fastest to get everybody in and out. But there is only we can only go so fast. We have to make sure everyone has their paperwork. We have to make sure we give you the right dog. Everyone needs to talk to Carlos before they leave. So there's a process. So we just ask that you be patient and have fun while you're there, because I mean it is fun. You're getting a new dog, so there's no reason to be upset. You want to talk about the ugly attitudes in line?
Oh, bad attitudes in line. Like I said, like Courtney said, please be patient. You're there to get a dog. It's a happy time. Should be a happy time for you. It's a happy time for us because we're happy these dogs are getting homes, and amazing homes at that. But our last trip, we had 2 really bad attitudes in line. I mean, one, I was in the process of doing something and I had to stop and look because of the comment that was made in line. And I was just like, are you serious? What I should have did at that point was ended it, just terminated the adoption as far as like, you know what, this is not going to work. You're not going to be able to adopt a dog today. But I didn't. I'm like, you know what, it's a stressful time. Everybody's trying to get in line. No big deal. I just let it fly. And then there was another really bad attitude. Well, after the whole process, the biggest problems I've had with adoption, or really the only problems I've really had with adoption, has come from those two bad apples in the line. And I was just like, oh my God, I could have eliminated this from the beginning. I mean, we brought 108 dogs, 45 were pre-adopted, so we only had, what, 60 something dogs. There were over 100 people there to adopt those dogs. So, I mean, it's kind of crazy when you have 5 people wanting this dog and 4 people wanting this dog and 7 people wanting this dog, and there's only one dog. And basically how it works is first come, first serve. If you get there and you're in line and I process your application and you want this dog and it's available for adoption, well, you get the dog, and the other 5 people that are in line don't get the dog because it's been adopted, and they either have to find another dog, or, I mean, their day is ended for dog adoption because they didn't get the dog they want, and they go home empty-handed. So please be patient. Please be early. We transport our dogs in a big, huge 28-foot trailer. If you are pre-adoption, you still have to come in and process your paperwork, and we will bring you your dog. Unless we arrive early, if we do an early arrival, then we will do the pre-adopts. If we come in early, then we will process your adoption from the trailer. But if it's not a early arrival pre-adopt, then you come to inside and we'll bring your dog to you. So a lot of people were coming and hanging out at the trailer to see their dogs, or hoping to see, if they hadn't been pre-adopted, we're hoping to see some of the other dogs that were on the trailer that we hadn't pulled off yet. We don't have time to just show you this puppy and show you this puppy and show you this puppy. I mean, that's the reason why we brought them in, and that's the reason why we have the kennels and the X-pen set up inside. So when we can bring them in and get them set up, that's when we are able to do that. I mean, we're coming from Texas. There's only 4 of us that traveled with the dogs, and we had 1 person that flew out to help us. So, I mean, at the event, we have like 5 local Texans helping with the process. And then we had the PetSmart volunteers that come and help, and they do what they can to speed up the process. So patience, patience, patience. And if you are not pre-adopted and you want what they call the pick of the litter, you have to get there early, because somebody else is thinking the same thing you're thinking. Oh, you know what? The dog is really cute. It's not pre-adopted. I'm going to get there so I can get that dog. Well, whoever gets there first and they have their approved application is who's going to be able to adopt the dog.
So basically, if you have a negative attitude, he's going to go get the. We have a special little puppy that's barking at us. But basically, if you have a negative attitude, you're probably not going to get one of our dogs. We can talk about the PetSmart affiliation. Carlos can come back. He's coming back. He gave the dog a treat or something.
PetSmart affiliation. This is how we are affiliated with PetSmart. We are a nonprofit organization, and PetSmart allows us to do adoptions in their stores. It helps us as a place to present our dogs in a place where there's a high traffic area of pet owners. So any questions, any concerns about a dog, either before or after you adopt the dog, it needs to be directed straight to Courtney or myself. If you go through PetSmart, whether it's a problem or a concern or just a praise, it's gonna delay a response, because the response you're gonna get is gonna come from Courtney or myself. PetSmart is not affiliated with our organization financially at all, so they're not gonna be able to compensate you in any way. And this comes up in this manner, and I guess we can go ahead and kind of include this in the parasites on a dog. Let's say you get a dog and your dog has fleas or ticks, and you call PetSmart and say, hey, I was just there and I adopted this dog and it had fleas. what can I do? Well, PetSmart has a groomer and a vet clinic. So they can offer you to come and bring your dog in and get a bath, or they can offer you to come to their vet clinic and buy a topical to put on the dog to eliminate the fleas, and they're going to charge you for it. So that's how we're affiliated for PetSmart. PetSmart provides a service, and those services are grooming, vet clinic, and they sell products. So if you need a product, you can go to PetSmart and purchase it. If you adopted a dog from us and there's an issue with the dog, you need to contact us directly and say, hey, Carlos, I just got this dog and it has fleas. And then we'll be able to address the issue with you at that time, whether you want to take the dog and get it a flea bath, or if you need to get a topical for the dog to eliminate the fleas or whatever. But that just needs to be taken up with us directly instead of, I mean, if you go through PetSmart, it's just going to be, you're going to contact PetSmart. PetSmart's going to, whenever they get a chance, contact us and tell us what's going on. Then we have to figure out who you are and get back in contact with you and figure it out. So it's just easy to go straight to the source and allow us to fix whatever the problem is. We love every dog we adopt out. We care so much about these dogs. We want them to be happy. We want them to be healthy. But we care about you too, because you're the person that's adopting our dog. So we want you to be satisfied and not have any issues. So we will do what we can to take care of any situation that may arise.
Alrighty. So when you get a dog from us, whether it's pre-adoption or you come to the event and adopt a dog, you're going to go home with a little folder, your Snowy's folder. So it's going to be white, or it may be manila. It's whatever's cheapest, because we're poor. So basically inside your envelope is going to be some information, and we'll go over that. It's going to be a little packet like this, and it has frequently asked questions. It has crate training, which we highly recommend, and then the post-op page, which is if your dog was recently spayed or neutered, it will tell you kind of how to care for it. Also, there's information on the intestinal parasites that we need you to sign and read over. Every dog we adopt out is microchipped, usually through this company, unless it was, you know,
from a different organization,
yeah,
or microchipped.
So most of them are from AKC Reunite, and after you adopt, I register everyone's microchip. It's included in your adoption fee, and so that will be registered with your name on it. And in order for me to register it, you have to fill out one of these, which is an AKC Reunite form, which allows me to know what alternative contact you want in case they can't get a hold of you, if your dog's lost, what vet you are using, etc. What else do we have in here? Also, every dog is different, but there's going to be paperwork in there on vetting and
Hello.
the dog's rabies tag will be in there. Some dogs that we get from the pound, it depends on which pound they come from. You get a little paper from the pound saying where it was found, stuff like that. So that's what you will get in your packet to take home. While you're checking out, you will have to sign our contract. And so it's several pages. You sign it, and then you also get a copy of it for yourself. It's a blank copy, so you can look over it later. That's basically it. Also, we scan every single dog, or we try to. We scan every dog before they leave to make sure that we have matched up the microchip before. The microchip matches the dog. So don't be surprised if we scan the dog before you leave. Okay, what do you want to talk about?
Okay. Heartworm positive dogs. On our transport, we do bring heartworm positive dogs up north. These dogs have had monthly heartworm preventatives. When a dog tests positive for heartworms, an adult worm in a heart produces what's called microfilaria. Once a dog's had a heartworm preventative, which would be HeartGuard, whatever heartworm preventative of their own, kills the microfilaria. These dogs are not contagious to other dogs. If you find a dog that you're interested in adopting, we will give you one of these sheets to read. So you're thinking about adopting a heartworm positive dog. After you've read this, we can spend some time talking about the heartworms and how we treat the heartworms and what it means to have a heartworm positive dog. Doesn't matter if you have another dog in your home already. Bringing a heartworm positive dog is not going to affect the dog you have in a negative manner at all. All you have to do is keep the dog on a heartworm preventative. We will supply the first year of HeartGuard if you adopt a heartworm positive dog from us. So if you're interested, if you see a dog that you're interested in adopting, whenever we look at the paperwork, we'll be able to look at the dog and say, well, this dog is heartworm positive. Like I said, we'll give you the sheet. Don't let it deter you thinking, well, I'm not going to take this dog home because I have 2 dogs at home and my dogs are going to get sick. I know you guys don't deal with heartworms up there. I was a vet tech for 11 years. Like I said, Courtney and I have been doing this rescue for over 13 years. We've done thousands of dogs that were heartworm positive. Actually, here in Texas, more of the dogs are heartworm positive than are heartworm negative. We do bring a lot of puppies. It takes 6 months from that time a dog is bit by a mosquito before a dog will test positive for heartworms. So if you're adopting a dog that's 6 months or, well, 5.5 months or younger, there's no way your dog's heartworm positive. And then all of the adult dogs have gotten heartworm preventative, and even the younger dogs that are like 5 months and up, they've all been on, all received a heartworm preventative. So none of the dogs we're transporting are contagious for heartworms for the dogs we're transporting them with, or a dog that they may go home with.
And also, we do recommend, if you adopt a dog from us, keeping it on heartworm prevention. I know some people up north do seasonal heartworm prevention. We do recommend that you keep your dog on HeartGuard for at least a year after they come from Texas.
Right.
Just to make sure, nothing is growing in there, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how else to say it. But yeah, we do recommend that for at least a year. Any type of heartworm prevention. And if you need to buy heartworm prevention, you can email us and we can let you know where we purchase it from online. Okay. Adjustment. When you get your new puppy home, a dog.
When you're adopting a new dog. These dogs have been through a lot. They come from shelters, they come here, they go to other rescues, they go to foster homes, and then they're spayed, they're neutered, they're vaccinated, they're heartworm tested, they're microchipped, and then they're treated for worms, and they're treated for worms again, and they're given heartworm preventative. And then this whole process, they're groomed and nails and everything else, and it's all building up to this day. And then they all come together, and then they're loaded on the transport trailer, and they're driven across country from Texas to Seattle or to Portland to their new home. It's a stressful time for the dog. Them coming from the shelter and get adjusted to being here with us, and then on a 2.5, 3 day journey across country to come and be with you, and then the whole excitement of the adoption process. When you get this dog home, he needs to decompress and unwind. Just give him time. Don't force the dog to, I tell people not to force the dog to do anything other than go outside and use the bathroom. He doesn't need a potty in the house. You need to take him outside and let him do his business, then come back inside. Some dogs will give you instant gratification. It doesn't matter what they've been through. They're just so happy to see you. They're ready to go to the park. They're ready to play. But some of these dogs, and people get the dogs, and the next day they're in the park and playing. I had a dog adopted locally. The day they got the dog, they took the dog to the dog park, like 3 or 4 hours after they got the dog. And then they called and says, oh, he won't come to us. He's been running around for like 2 hours in the dog park. So I had to leave my groom shop, drive down to the dog park, and call the dog over to me and give it to the owner and be like, it's too soon. Now was not the time to go to the dog park. The dog doesn't even know you just picked him up like 3 hours ago. I mean, I know you love the dog. You're excited. You want the dog to play and have a good time. But, I mean, there's a time, and they need that adjustment period. And that adjustment period is different for every dog. Like I said, some dogs will give it to you instantly. They're just ready to go. Some dogs, it takes a week, it takes 2 weeks, it takes 3 weeks. It may take 6 weeks depending on the dog and the situation. So just be patient with your dog. Watch the signs, watch the wagging tail. You'll see when he's ready, and then just
Go have fun.
Right, just go have fun and enjoy your new pet. But they're all not the same. Even the puppies, it doesn't matter that the dog is 3 or 4 months old. They usually bounce back and they're a lot more flexible, but it's still stressful on them. So just be patient with your new dog.
Yeah. Don't take it on a 6-mile hike the first day you get it.
All right, that's not good.
We've had people do that too.
Yeah, that's not. that's no good.
Okay, so if you have, we love updates, first of all. So that keeps us going. It keeps us motivated. I mean, because this can be stressful and sad, this rescue stuff. So we would love emails, pictures. We did grow up and get an Instagram account. So I had to figure out how to use that. And so now we have Instagram and Facebook. So if you send me a picture of your dog and a little update, I'll probably post it on both of them so people can follow us and see. It's kind of fun. And then, so if you have any issues, any compliments, any concerns, anything, email us is the best way. I do check all the emails. I do email everybody back within a day, usually. If you have an immediate concern, you can text Carlos, and his phone number is in your adoption paperwork on the business card or the contract. It's in both places. What else? I want to say that down here in Texas, people ask why we bring dogs up north. So down in Texas, it's just a whole different world when it comes to animals. There's strays running around. There's, you go down and you'll see packs of dogs running through, areas. There's stray dogs everywhere. It's sad down here. And also, the pounds are full. Our city shelter, or maybe it was our county shelter. We have one big city shelter and one big county shelter in Houston. And then the surroundings, there's all these little shelters too. But in one day, they had 700 dogs and cats total in one day in the shelter. And so it's a sad situation down here. So we just try our best. We're a drop in the bucket, honestly, when it comes to helping animals. But
all right, people are excited. Oh my God, you brought so many dogs. And we do bring a lot of dogs. But in the big scheme of things, it's nothing. It's like we go to the pound. If we pull 8 dogs, well, there could have been 80 dogs there. So even if we got 8, well, then there's 72 dogs that we left at the shelter that we couldn't get. So it's so, it's a lot, but it's just so small to the problem that we have here. So the amazing homes that we get from you guys when we come up there and adopt the dogs, it just, for us, it makes it all worth all the hard work that we do to get the dogs there, because it's a process, and the process started as soon as we got back from the last trip to get the next trip going. Because that's why in the sheet that she said some of the dogs are more recently spayed and neutered. Like the week we got back, we got dogs fixed for the next trip. So each week as we go, we're getting dogs fixed and fixed and fixed. So some of those dogs have been fixed for 2 weeks, some have been fixed for 3 weeks, some have been fixed 4 or 5 weeks. But then some people will get a dog that they adopted or that they will adopt, then that dog just got fixed like 5 or 6 days ago. And that's the most recent. It's going to be at least a week. So
we try our best to get them spayed and neutered ASAP, but our main vet that we use can only do so many.
Right. And
so they really do accommodate us, and they've been a blessing to us, but they can only do so many. So that's why, we can't just take 20 dogs and expect them to spay and neuter. It's 2, 3, 4, 5 dogs, you know, every time so that they can help us out with. So I guess that's it, and I hope we didn't scare you.
And I hope you take the time to listen to this because this was long.
Yeah, it is long. Okay, we'll see you around.